Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Skip Elsheimer, and this is the avgeeks lunchtime streaming show. We just watched some stock can footage, reels BEX and BPO, which there was some stuff about the shape of the Earth. There was stuff about satellites, computers, agriculture, forestry. It's a wonderful mixed bag, and I really appreciate that you guys in the comments, many of you are liking this footage because I'm digging it too. There's no narration, there's no sound, and this was stuff that was shot probably for a particular project, for a particular educational film with Coronet, and they just held on to the footage so that it could be used again in other productions that they did. And unfortunately, I don't have a guide. I don't know what is supposedly on BEX or BPO unless I watch it. So that is also fascinating to me. All right, so this is the avgeeks lunchtime streaming show. We watch old 16mm films that I have in my collection. And today we were supposed to have a special guest. And it's not a special guest that any of you would know. It's just a longtime friend who has been watching my show and has been doing something in response to that. And then something happened that I felt like, oh, I totally have to have him on. So he, like most of us, has a day job. So he couldn't make it today, but hopefully early next week. We will have Josh Schaefer from Lunchmeat VHS tomorrow, because he and I have similar work schedules, so we can get away with this. All right, so now we're going to watch a film that's actually on film that we have hooked up to the telecine. See if I can get a view of it. So this is the machine that allows us to watch 16mm films as they're transferred live, with no flicker. Make sure I didn't unplug anything back here. See my Wiffle Fist? It's my Wiffle Fist shirt. Wiffle Fist was a collective of people back in the 90s where AV Geeks kind of sprang from. We were collecting a bunch of stuff, AV equipment, etc. And so, all right. So, anyways, this next film is Seahorse, and it's really awesome. I remember seeing this and showing this to friends. And so here it is, Seahorse.
Everybody knows what fishes look like. They swim like this. And they have scales like this. But every general rule has its exceptions, even among fishes. This marine misfit has a head like a horse, a pouch for babies like a kangaroo, a prehensile tail like a monkey, armor plates instead of scales, and it swims through the water upright in a most unfish-like manner. But fish he is. This is Hippocampus erectus, the spotted seahorse, one of 30 or 40 different species of seahorses. In South Florida coastal regions, his average size is 5 to 6 inches. He and his relatives live in shallow, temperate tropical seas around the world in seagrass or seaweed. He's a mild, peaceful creature, certainly no threat to other fish. In turn, few fish are a threat to him. A hungry fish looking for a meal seldom spots the seahorse camouflaged in a patch of seaweed. Anyway, he isn't a tasty morsel. He has so little flesh. And what little flesh he has is encased in an armor-like bone structure covered by skin instead of scales. This armor consists of a series of overlapping bony plates. These limit his flexibility and account for his stately and rigid posture. This is as high as he can lift his head because the bony plates keep his neck permanently curved. His eyes are disjunctive. They can turn in all directions, independent of each other. He also has the ability to converge his eye focus. That is, he can sight something with one eye and then move his other eye to the same focal point. Locomotion depends on three kinds of fins. There are two pectoral fins located on each side of his head, controlling the angle at which he holds his body. They also act as stabilizers to maintain his balance in an upright position. This is the dorsal fin. It's the main power for locomotion and controls the direction of movement. The precise function of the anal fin is not fully known. His prehensile tail serves mainly as an anchor, but he also uses it to change his center of gravity. The slow-moving seahorse must depend on something other than speed to evade his enemies. He relies on camouflage, changing color slowly to blend with his environment. He also has numerous tubercles on his head and body. These, combined with his skin spots, disguise his body outline and help him blend with seagrass or rocky background. Some species have tufts growing from their tubercles and look more like a drifting twig than a fish. The principal diet of the seahorse is fish lice, copepods, and other crab-like miniatures. This one is feeding on brine shrimp. His mouth is at the end of his snout. It functions like a powerful vacuum cleaner, sucking in any tasty morsel that floats within range. Food is swallowed whole, and for a very good reason. He has no teeth. The powerful suction of his mouth makes a brine shrimp swimming 2 or 3 inches away disappear faster than the eye can follow. Even when we slow down the action, it's difficult to follow. It's a case of now you see it, now you don't when the seahorse eats. He does have a brain in his head, but it's small, typical of most small fishes. When the seahorse breathes, he inhales oxygenated water through his snout. The water flows over his gills where oxygen is extracted and diffused into the bloodstream. Then the water is forced upwards out 2 ducts, the gill openings. Unlike other fish, his gills are completely covered by a bony operculum. Have you ever wondered what keeps a fish stationary in the water without sinking or floating to the top? Generally speaking, his buoyancy is dependent on his swim bladder, sometimes called the air bladder, which contains a gland that secretes oxygen. The seahorse swim bladder is located here. The swim bladder is a thin, elastic structure separated into 2 chambers by a diaphragm. The diaphragm has a hole in the center that can open and close. The upper chamber contains a gland that secretes gas, which governs his buoyancy. When there's too much gas in the upper chamber, the hole opens, and the excess gas escapes into the lower resorption chamber, where it diffuses into the bloodstream through the capillaries. This action causes him to go down. The external pressure increases, so in order to equalize the external and internal pressures, the gland secretes gas. This makes him ascend into shallow water, where the external pressure is less than the internal pressure. If gas is not released into the lower chamber, he'll continue to ascend and pop right out of the water. To prevent this, gas is released into the lower chamber. When the two pressures, external and internal, are equal, he achieves neutral buoyancy, until he activates his fins for locomotion. We could say that the life for the seahorse is one long series of ups and downs. The gas-secreting gland is called the red gland. Special capillaries, the rete mirabili, carry blood to and from the gland. The blood in the arterial capillaries transports oxygen, indicated by yellow dots, to be used by the gas gland. Surplus oxygen travels with the blood out the venous capillaries. This builds gas pressure in the outgoing veins and causes the gas to diffuse into the parallel capillaries, sending it back to the gland. This action is called the counter-current exchange system. From his dignified progress through the water, you'd never imagine all of the precision interlocking mechanisms that are working inside that little creature. Mating can occur at any time during the year. And here again, the seahorse proves that he is an exception to the rule. It's the father who has the babies. The female places hundreds of eggs in the male's brood pouch, where they are fertilized. Sperm is ejected from this papilla, fertilizing the eggs as they enter the pouch. The pouch consists of two skin pockets, separated by a skin wall with a vent at the top opening into both pockets. Within the pouch pockets, a network of capillaries develops. Each embryo is encased in epithelium and nourished by its own capillaries. Under the microscope, we see the heart of the embryo pump blood through the capillaries in the egg yolk. Now the egg yolk is almost gone, and the heart pumps blood to all parts of the body. The gestation period is approximately 40 days. Here, he's going through a series of convulsions prior to giving birth. The babies are born in explosive bursts, often hundreds at a time, along with shreds of tissue and egg. Delivery takes from 1 to 6 hours. Newborn seahorses, attracted by light, travel to the surface of the water. When they get there, they gulp a single bubble of air, which travels down a duct to activate the swim bladder. This is the only breath of air the seahorse ever takes. When the air duct has served its purpose, it degenerates and disappears, sealing off the swim bladder from further air intake. With luck, he'll live for 3 or 4 years, a normal lifespan. So all fishes do not look like this, nor swim like this, proving that for every general rule, there is an exception. And our most exceptional fish is Hippocampus, the seahorse.
I got to tell you, that film was great, and it really makes me lament the number of sea monkey pets that I had. I think I did it 3 or 4 times, and of course they all died very quickly when a fly would drop in the water, or I wasn't feeding them, or any number of things. And I gotta say, the fact that seahorses will eat sea monkeys or brine shrimp makes me really wish that we could have had seahorses, because those things are awesome. They are really, really awesome. I mean, I'm sure that to support seahorses, you'd need a much more elaborate environment tank, probably saltwater tank, then a certain amount of oxygen and all this other stuff to support it. But they're awesome. They're pretty cool. All right. So I should say thank you, folks, for buying coffee. Sometimes people buy me coffee after hours. They are watching this broadcast later, and that's one way you can support AV Geeks, is with delicious coffee. Another way is to hit like, subscribe, notification, blah 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 blah. All right, this next film is about blue jeans, or is it?
Buying new jeans at the store. They look so cool in their blue jeans that they're selling by the score.
Corduroys, gabardines, khakis, and denim. Pants for work, pants for play. Pants for every day. Pants like blue jeans. For tall men, short girls, fat men, short men, fat girls, tall girls, wide hips, narrow hips. Blue jeans for almost every size and shape. 125 different sizes of blue jeans.
Gentlemen, I've called you together this afternoon to discuss the state of our company. As you know, sales of blue jeans have never been better. But the future. Future, gentlemen, is enough to frighten you out of your tightest jeans. Look at this. Here we have the original blue jeans. A marvelous pair of pants. Here we have today's blue jeans. The pants are still the same, but not the man inside them. Long time ago, men bought blue jeans to work in. They were good, honest, working men's pants. They wore them in the mines. They wore them on the cattle trail. My own father wore them topping 200-foot Douglas firs. But now all that's changed. Some of the people who wear our jeans today think that work is the same thing as taking a bath. Even the ones who know the difference don't buy our pants for work anymore. Now they buy them for play, for hanging around the corner in, for fashion.
You're right, J.B. You're absolutely right. It's very true.
But what's wrong with that? I don't see the point.
The point? I'm just getting to the point.
cotton from Alabama, cotton from Louisiana, Texas cotton, Mississippi cotton, cotton from Georgia, cotton from California, short fiber cotton, long fiber cotton, cotton from Charleston, cotton from Savannah, cotton from Memphis, cotton from Texarkana. It takes 2 pounds of cotton to make a pair of jeans. Pick the cotton with a combine, clean at the gin. Separate the fibers from the seeds. Clean them at the gin. Take the cleaned and seedless fibers. Load them into 500-pound bales. Enough cotton for 250 pairs of jeans. It takes 52 cents worth of cotton to make a pair of jeans.
The point, gentlemen, was very simple. In my father's day, when a man's jeans wore out, he went out and bought himself a new pair. Not today, no. None of the young people want shiny new jeans now. They don't want them clean and pressed anymore. They just want them worn and faded. Now that, gentlemen, presents certain problems. Cleanliness and self-respect aside, we are in business to sell new jeans, not old ones. But what are we going to do if nobody wants to wear them that way?
Take a bale of cotton from Louisiana, take a bale from Alabama. Mix them together with the bale from Savannah. Clean them, fluff them, separate the fibers, pull them out, stretch them out, twist them into yarn. Draw them out, stretch them out, spin the fibers into yarn. Take the yarn and weave it into cloth. Loom it and weave it and turn it into denim. Loom it and weave it and turn it into cloth.
Look, it's very simple. It really is. We're just old-fashioned, that's all.
Old-fashioned?
Sure we are. Look, it's not the Wild West anymore. This is the modern scientific age. And our pants have to keep up with the times.
That's right, it's true, JB, they should.
Everybody else in the pants business is using synthetics. Now, why shouldn't we do the same?
Synthetics?
Synthetics.
And what good would that do us?
Dye the denim blue and pack it into rolls, from cotton to blue denim. 100 bales a day, 1,000 rolls of cloth. 500 bales a week, 500,000 yards of cloth. It costs 78 more cents to turn cotton into denim.
Well, look, if we can create our own material, we can make pants that won't fade, that won't wrinkle, and won't shrink. Then young people won't be able to wear them that way. They'll be able to wear them only pressed and shining.
Now that's an idea, isn't it, JB?
I mean, they couldn't wear them dirty anymore.
No! They'd be pressed and shiny until they fell apart.
But that goes against everything blue jeans stand for. After all, think of how we began. Think of the good old days.
Ah, yes, the good old days.
Remember, more important things than gold came out of the California gold rush. In those days, you couldn't get a pair of pants that would hold up in the mines. Blue jeans were created to fill that need. A pair of pants that would last, even in the diggings. They were the strongest pants the West had ever seen. The good, honest, working man's pants that your father wore, J.B. They were made to take a beating, and they did. 120 years later, gentlemen, blue jeans are still basically the same pair of pants that came out of the California gold rush. Still the strongest pair of pants the West has ever seen. Synthetic pants? Yes. But synthetic blue jeans, synthetic blue denim jeans, never.
He has a point, J.B.
You're right. He has a point. I almost forgot myself for a moment.
Take a roll of denim, sew it into pants. Add buttons and rivets, and you have a pair of jeans. Denim and rivets, buttons and thread. Plus 35 people to turn them into jeans. It takes 35 people to make a pair of jeans. One person to cut out the patterns, 35 people to sew them into jeans. Someone to sew the front, someone to sew the back. Sew the legs together, make a pair of jeans. Large jeans and small jeans. Wide jeans and narrow jeans. 9,000 jeans a day. One person to sew the fronts together, another person to sew the backs. Someone else to sew the pockets, someone else to sew the belt loops. And still another person for the seams. It takes 35 people to make a pair of jeans. It costs 21 more cents for the buttons, thread, rivets, and labels that go into a pair of jeans. It costs $1.02 more for the labor to sew a pair of jeans. It costs $1.27 more to pack the jeans and ship them to the store. $3.80 in all to make a pair of jeans.
But if that's the case, what should we do?
Well, if we're not going to change the style or the material, then let's use that fact. Let's promote the fact that our pants can fade. That's what they want, isn't it? Well, that's what we have to sell. So let's tell them about it. That's what advertising is for, isn't it?
He's right, J.B. That's what advertising is for.
No, you're the ad man. Come up with something.
All right, let me see now. Guaranteed to fade. Guaranteed to fade, to shrink, and what else? Wrinkle? Guaranteed to fade, shrink, and wrinkle. That's it. Guaranteed to shrink, wrinkle, and fade.
I like it. I like it very much.
We might even sell them some bleach or dirt to go along with the pants. Do-it-yourself fade and dirty kit.
Now, that's an idea, J.B.
Oh, it's worth thinking about, isn't it? A fade and dirty kit.
From the factory to the store, from the plant to the buyer, the cost of blue jeans keeps adding up. 30 cents more for rent, $1.45 for sales, 20 cents for advertising, 50 cents for taxes, 25 cents for profit, $2.70 more for a store to sell a pair of jeans. It costs $6.50 for you to buy a pair of blue jeans.
I love my brand new blue jeans, just bought at a clothing store. But I like them better faded, like the ones I had
What a great film, especially given the current state of jeans, the outrageous pricing. I, being a young college punk rocker type, routinely wore jeans until holes appeared in them because that's when they were the most comfortable, and got so much crap for that. And then to see them, you know, a decade later selling for $80, now hundreds of dollars, is outrageous. There's a documentary show that my wife and I watch called The World According to Jeff Goldblum, or something like that. It's on Disney Plus or Nat Geo. And it's Jeff Goldblum talking about whatever, themed whatever. And he did one about denim, about blue jeans. And the technologies used to weather or fade blue jeans is phenomenal, using a laser. It's crazy. And it used to be just, they would just set up a bunch of jeans and then people would like scrub them with caustic chemicals. So this was more civilized, I think, but it's an interesting film. It's, we certainly have films about where clothing comes from, but ones that talk about marketing and talk about, how it enters the marketplace and thinking about the durability and all that is really fascinating. This is why I collect films. 1971. Wow, things changed. They certainly changed. Here's some music.
Oh Johnny, how you can love. Oh Johnny, heavens above. You make my sad heart jump with joy. And when you're near me, I can't sit still a single minute. Oh Johnny, please tell me, dear, what makes me love you so? You're not handsome, it's true, but when I look at you, I'm just, oh Johnny, oh.
That's not the way to sing a song, Miss England. That's not the way to sing a song.
What's wrong?
That's not the way to sing a song.
That's not the way to sing a song?
No.
Well, do you mind, Alfie, if I just try it once more?
Shall we try it?
Once more, huh? Thanks, Union. Oh, Johnny, how you can love. Oh, Johnny, heavens above. You make my sad heart jump with joy, joy. And when you're near me, I can't sit still a minute. Oh, Johnny, please tell me, dear, what makes me love you so? You're not handsome, it's true. When I look at you, I'm just, oh, Johnny.
That's not the way to sing a song, Miss England. That's not the way to sing a song.
What's wrong?
That's not the way to sing a song.
That's still not the way to sing a song, huh?
No.
I think maybe I have a small idea of what you boys really want.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you boys come up and see me sometime, huh? Oh, take it easy, fellas. Take it easy. If y'all going to come up and see me, come up one at a time. Oh, Johnny. How you can love? Oh, Johnny. Heavens above. You make my sad heart jump with joy. And when you're near me, Johnny, when you're near me, I can't. Oh, well, I just can't. Oh, Johnny. Please tell me, dear, just what is it that makes me love you so? you're not handsome, it's true. Oh, when I look at you, I'm just, Johnny. Oh, Johnny. Wow. You're not handsome, it's true. But when I look at you, I'm just, oh, Johnny. Oh, Johnny, oh.
So that was a soundy, and soundies are interesting because they were kind of like a video jukebox. The idea is that a bar would buy, or most likely lease or rent a machine, and you put a nickel in, and it would play a song. And the song was on film, and it would project the film onto a screen. And it would feature all these acts, some popular, some not so popular, some more traditional family fare, and some of them more risque, like we just saw. And they were all on a reel, so you didn't really get to choose what you could play, but it would just start playing. And so this was a way that a club or a bar that didn't have the money or resources for a live band, this is a way that they could have music in the place. There were jukeboxes as well, but this kind of bumped it up a notch. And so there's plenty of these soundies that were later distributed for other things. There was another company called Snader that also made their version of soundies that could be played in these machines. And the deal was, normally, an act or a performer would get like, here's $25, perform in front of this film, in front of this camera. And then they would edit it and distribute it, and that's all the performer would get. A lot of them were lip-synced, and the other thing is that the machines, many of them were distributed, like jukebox machines, were distributed by the mob. So there was an issue with that. So that was like 40s, 50s. It kind of went away for a while. Then there was this kind of French machine that was like a jukebox called a scopatone. And those films were color, and you could pick which one you wanted to watch. So if you actually looked inside of one of them, you would see there were all these different, maybe like 10 different choices, and usually very lavishly colored, beautiful footage. Most of them have faded red nowadays, but look up scopatone and soundy on YouTube, and you'll find a wide variety of different ones that are out there. They're kind of great. Let's see, what do we want to do? Let's learn about working with others.
Millions of people work in offices. To succeed, to get the most out of a job in an office, you need to understand the importance of working well with others. It's called human relations. Getting along with other people is extremely important. It helps establish understanding and cooperation. Language and behavior can create bridges of success between people.
or gaps, gaps of failure. Living and working with others successfully depends on building bridges of communication between people. And the success of any business depends on those bridges too, on the ability of employees to get along with customers, for instance. Anita Valdez understands that. She works at the information desk in a large bank.
It's on the 3rd floor, and Mr. Baker will be glad to help you with it. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Good morning. May I help you?
Yes, we'd like to open an account.
A checking account. Oh, fine. The new accounts department is right over there. Mrs. Hayes will be glad to help you. And thank you.
If she weren't able to get along with people, she wouldn't be able to do a good job. In many cases, she's the first person on the staff that customers meet. The bank depends on her to present a friendly, helpful image to everyone who asks for information. And she does a good job. She likes people and really wants to help them. She works primarily with customers of the bank. But she has another responsibility. The responsibility of getting along well with her co-workers.
Hi, Judy. May I help you? Yes, I'm looking for Ron Marks. He said he'd be down here, but I can't seem to find him. Have you seen him around? No, not since early this morning. Want me to page him? Well, I guess I'll try his desk a bit. I'll tell you what. If he isn't there at this time, I'll call you. Then you can page him. He needs his material, and he said immediately. Well, thank you, Anita. You're welcome.
Like Anita, Judy realizes the importance of human relations, getting along with others. Judy may have several things on her mind, but she's always cheerful and friendly. To her, getting along with her co-workers makes her job more fun. She's right. But another important thing about it is that her attitude makes a vast difference in her ability to do her job well. As one of several secretaries in the Public Relations Department of the bank, Judy realizes that she's a member of a team. Other people depend on her, and she depends on them.
Where have you been? What took so long?
I was just looking for you.
You knew I had to have these reports, and I told you I had to have them immediately. Now, when I say immediately, I mean now. Not tomorrow, not the day after. Now.
Ron Marks, as an assistant to the department head, he wants to advance. But success doesn't depend entirely on ability, and Ron will never make it until he learns to respect the feelings of others. A fellow like Ron can have a bad effect on the morale of others.
Excuse me, Judy. What?
Sometimes causing gaps between them.
I'm sorry. Is something wrong? No, nothing. What can I do for you?
Well, we need to proofread some of the copy of the annual report, and I was wondering if you had time to help me with it.
Sure, I'd be glad to.
But gaps can be bridged with effort, understanding, a sincere desire to get along well with others. Coordination of work is extremely important in an office. In this case, Judy and Terry are proofreading material which will be included in the bank's annual report. Every detail must be checked, and communication between Judy and Terry is essential. Their job is important not only to them, but to the bank, to the customers who will receive the report, and to the typographers and printers who will prepare it.
Okay. Fine.
There, it's all finished.
Right, thank you, Judy.
Sure.
Well, we need that copy immediately. The printer's here, and I want to go over everything with him. You're holding things up. What shall I tell him?
All finished, Ron. Here you are.
Any errors?
Just a few. Most of them are typographical errors, but there's one place that should be checked. That's on page 4. Right.
Working with others can be a great pleasure, and that can happen when we think of people as individuals, when we show appreciation for their work. Ron doesn't need to demand. If he needs help from Terry or Judy, he can ask, and it can be given with respect. Fortunately,
go straight blonde.
Judy realizes that simple courtesy to others is basic to good human relations.
There's a large space between the first and second, and the third almost runs into
She showed it with Terry
I'll have that taken care of.
and with Ron. Cooperation is a plus for everyone.
Punctuation, there should be commas and a period at the end.
That's all?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll have this fixed right away.
And it doesn't take any time at all to thank someone for something. Ron should realize that Judy and Terry would like to feel that their work is appreciated.
Hi, Ron. Good afternoon.
Hello. I've been over these proofs with a couple of the girls. I think we've got a couple of things to discuss in some detail. Shall we get at it?
Fine, yeah.
Working with others doesn't always mean just those within your own office.
These proofs are really a mess.
Oh, well, let's see.
Tony Rocco represents the printing company which is producing the annual report for the bank. He isn't a bank employee, but he and Ron must work together closely on the project. At times it is necessary to point out mistakes, but it doesn't have to be done with rudeness. Ron's attitude doesn't help build bridges of communication with Tony.
That's ridiculous.
Really, these errors are minor, Ron. You've marked everything clearly, and that one spot can be fixed very easily. Here, let me show you.
And Tony's reaction to Ron's criticism is important. Fortunately, he works well with people, and he appreciates helpful criticism.
And put it in italics. This way, saving one page and being on the one page on the same page, it can be easily read.
Fine. There is one other major place. Here, toward the end, we have a page of columns. Now, the first is corporate names.
Ron may not know it, but Tony is helping him. First, he is solving a problem, the proof sheets, but also he is presenting a good example to Ron. He's making an effort. Rather than being upset with Ron, he continues to show him that he wants to get along with him. It takes more effort with some than with others, but often such effort will bring about a reciprocal effort in the other person.
And so, you see, Ron, in this way, we can take care of everything and at no extra cost to you.
Well, that's fine. I was a little worried. Can you still meet our deadline?
Sure. Now that we've checked it out together, everything is very clear.
Well, I guess
things we do or say to people have an effect on them.
Thanks, Ron. I'll be in touch with you.
All right, fine.
But Ron should be thanking Tony. Tony's behavior showed a sensitivity toward him, a feeling for good human relations. He's helped build a bridge of communication and understanding between them.
Busy?
Well, yes, but what is it, Ron?
The annual report. I just gave it to the printer. He says he'll make our deadline.
Okay, Ron, thanks.
Anything else?
No, that's all for now. Sorry, where were we?
We were talking about the survey on the new savings accounts during the past 3 years.
Oh, yes. Well, to continue, I'd like to expand our study to include...
At times, interruptions are necessary. But usually, unless it's an emergency, things can wait a few minutes.
One of the department heads.
Mr. Bechtel is the department head. And while Ron might have felt that he was impressing his boss, he didn't really help their relationship with his abrupt interruption. He didn't consider the other person's feelings. Ron didn't take time to consider the normal custom of being courteous.
A possible extension of what the savings account department would do.
Fine, Mr. Bechtel. Anything else for now?
No, that's it. Susan, thanks. I think I'll go with you. My meeting's downstairs.
One of the reasons Mr. Bechtel is in his job of responsibility is that he works well with others. He knows he's the boss, but he also knows that the people in his department enable him to do a good job. He's a member of the office team, too. He's polite to everyone, and he lets them know that he appreciates their effort, that he respects them as individuals. In return, people like working for him, and they show their respect for him by doing a good job.
Susan, if we can get that out this afternoon and get all the department heads told about this, I'd sure appreciate it. Thanks. How are you today, Jerry?
I'm respect. How are you?
Just fine, thanks. Oh, I see you've got your typewriter back, Judy.
Yes, sir. Repairman came in earlier this morning and fixed it for us.
Good. He's a good fellow and very dependable.
Yes, he really is.
Excuse me, Mr. Bechtel, do you have a moment?
Yes, Ron, I've got to get to a meeting.
Well, about the annual report.
Yes, you got it off to the printer, fine.
Yes, but I just wanted to mention that Judy and Terry were an awfully big help, and Tony, too, the printing salesman.
I understand, Ron. Cooperation means a lot, doesn't it? Is that it? Well, I just got to get off.
Yes, and thanks, Mr. Bechtel.
Well, thanks to you, Ron.
Getting along with yourself is the first step in getting along with others. A sensitivity to people's needs, a respect for them as individuals, and an appreciation for their work. These are ways to good human relations in an office. And the ability to work with other people can determine failure or success. Right, Ron?
Oh, Ron, you jerk. Yeah, that was a great film, and it's beyond the, calling women employees girls, which was the deal back then. It's pretty progressive and forward-thinking about consideration for other employees, regardless of your position in the company or in the office. Yeah, so, and also had a really cool song to it. Thank you, Scott's Diesel, for the coffee from the UK. Much appreciated. And as a reminder, that's the way that you can say thank you, is by buying some coffee for us. You can also go to avgeeks.com. We have DVDs for sale, and there's other stuff you can watch. But really, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, this is the thing that everybody says at the end of their little YouTube whatever. Yeah, there you go. So I'll be back tomorrow with Josh Schaefer from Lunch Meat VHS. Together, he and I put on the VHS-tival here in Raleigh for 2 years running. And unfortunately, we couldn't do it last year because of the pandemic. But he is a VHS collector, and so we are kindred spirits as far as having parts of our houses dedicated to our collections. And so we will see you tomorrow. Everybody have a good rest of your day. As always, please rewind and love each other, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.